Greetings, followers of the Dark Society. Today we delve into the scientific abyss. We're about to unearth the 5 most controversial scientific experiments in history. These experiments, while critical to our understanding of various fields, have sparked intense debates and ethical dilemmas. They have pushed the boundaries of what is acceptable in the pursuit of knowledge. They have questioned our very understanding of humanity and the world around us. Without further ado, let's explore these scientific conundrums. At number 5, we have the Stanford prison experiment. A study conducted in 1971 by psychologist Philip Zimbardo, this experiment aimed to examine the psychological effects of perceived power. Participants were randomly assigned roles of prisoners and guards in a mock prison set up in the basement of the Stanford University Psychology Building. But the experiment quickly spiraled out of control. The guards became abusive, and the prisoners showed signs of extreme stress and anxiety. After only 6 days, the 2-week experiment was halted due to the alarming mental effects on the participants. The controversy? Many critics argue that the study lacked ecological validity and that Zimbardo himself influenced the outcome by playing the role of the prison superintendent. Yet, the Stanford prison experiment had a profound impact on psychology, shedding light on how situational forces and perceived roles can influence behavior. This experiment serves as a dark reminder of the thin line between role-playing and reality. Coming in at number 4 is the Tuskegee syphilis study. This notorious experiment started in the 1930s and spanned over 4 decades, conducted by the United States Public Health Service. Its purpose? To observe the natural progression of untreated syphilis in African American men who were led to believe they were receiving free health care. This study raised numerous ethical issues, the most glaring one being the lack of informed consent. The participants were never told they had syphilis, nor were they ever treated for it, even after penicillin became a widely accepted treatment. The Tuskegee syphilis study left a significant blemish on the face of medical ethics, leading to widespread mistrust in medical institutions, particularly within the African American community. It prompted a complete overhaul of ethical guidelines and research, emphasizing the need for informed consent, respect for persons, and justice. A haunting testament to the importance of informed consent in medical studies. The 3rd spot is claimed by the infamous Project MK-Ultra. This was a covert operation spearheaded by the CIA in the mid-20th century, with the objective of developing mind control techniques. The agency conducted clandestine experiments on unwitting subjects using a variety of methods including hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and most controversially, the administration of LSD and other psychotropic drugs. The controversy arises not only from the invasive and ethically questionable nature of the experiments, but also from the fact that they were carried out without the subject's knowledge or consent. Once the project was brought to light, it sparked a public outcry and a series of legal actions against the CIA. The aftermath of Project MK-Ultra's revelation was a significant blow to the reputation of American intelligence agencies. It led to stricter regulations on human experimentation and a re-evaluation of the ethical boundaries within which such agencies operate. A chilling peek into the darker side of intelligence agencies. Just missing the top spot, we have the Milgram experiment. This controversial study was conducted by psychologist Stanley Milgram in the early 1960s. The goal? To measure the willingness of participants to obey an authority figure, even if it meant causing harm to another individual. Participants were told they were taking part in a study about learning and punishment. They were instructed to administer what they believed were electric shocks to a learner every time they answered a question incorrectly. Unbeknownst to them, the learner was actually an actor, and no real shocks were given. Despite the learner's cries of pain, many participants continued to administer the so-called shocks when urged by the experimenter. The results were shocking in their own right. A whopping 65% of participants administered the experiment's final massive 450-volt shock, and all participants administered at least a 300-volt shock. The Milgram experiment stirred controversy for its ethical implications. Critics argued that the participants were misled and subjected to psychological distress. Despite the controversy, the experiment brought about a new understanding of obedience, highlighting the extreme lengths individuals will go to follow orders, even when these orders contradict their personal beliefs and morals. It served as a stark reminder of the power of authority on human behavior, and has since been cited in countless studies and discussions on obedience and authority. a shocking revelation of the power of authority on human behavior. And at number 1, we have the human-animal hybrid experiments. Now, let's dive into the most controversial of them all, the human-animal hybrid experiments. These experiments, as the name implies, involve the merging of human and animal genetic material to create a hybrid entity. Unsettling as it may sound, the objective of such experiments is not to create some sort of mythical creature, but to answer some of the most pressing questions in medical science. The primary goal of these experiments is to understand more about human development, disease progression, and potential therapeutic strategies. For instance, scientists have used these hybrids or chimeras to study how diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's develop in hopes of finding a cure. They also hope to use these hybrids to grow human organs for transplant, a potential game changer in the field of organ donation. However, the controversy surrounding these experiments is immense. They pose several ethical questions that society is still grappling with. Is it right to create a being that is part human, part animal for the sake of scientific advancement? Where do we draw the line between what is scientifically possible and what is ethically acceptable? Critics argue that these experiments blur the boundary between humans and other species and could lead to a disregard for the sanctity of human life. There's also the concern of what might happen if such a hybrid were to accidentally escape the lab. Could it survive in the wild? Would it pose a threat to other species or even to humans? Proponents, on the other hand, argue that the potential benefits outweigh the ethical concerns. They point out that these hybrids could lead to advancements in medical treatments and cures for debilitating diseases. They stress that strict regulations and oversight are in place to ensure these experiments are conducted responsibly. The human-animal hybrid experiments, a bold venture into the unknown, a controversial crossing of boundaries that continues to ignite debates. There you have it, the 5 most controversial scientific experiments in history. From the chilling Stanford prison experiment to the shocking human-animal hybrid experiments, these studies have left indelible marks on science. They've shaped our understanding of human behavior and ethics, and continue to ignite debates. They serve as reminders of the importance of ethical boundaries in scientific exploration. Don't forget to subscribe to the Dark Society and activate notifications to stay updated on our latest explorations into the unknown. Until next time.